Welcome to Yellow Brick Road. I'm Jordan, and today I'm going to talk about that right there. You see that? That's Michael Moore. He's just, not quite, doesn't want to quite get involved in, defending possibly another progressive named Tulsi Gabbard, with their post-debate discussion. But first, please consider donating to Devon's Journey to Recovery. The GoFundMe link is in the description box. I feel like Will Chamberlain now when he's debating Nick Fuentes. Please donate to Devon's Journey to Recovery. None of the money goes to us. We don't make any money off it. It is indeed a charity for one of our subscribers and his wife who had medical issues, and a way to help them out, to keep them safe from medical debt collectors, is to donate to their GoFundMe account. Devon's Journey to Recovery, that GoFundMe account, or link to the GoFundMe account, is in the description box. Thank you. All right. So, this is going to be less about the already known about shills, Joyanne Reid and the guy who made up the story about the helicopter thing. We already know what their story is. We know what they're about. Let's pay attention to Kermit the Frog, a.k.a. Michael Moore. Here we go. Come on.
What party did you see on display on that stage tonight?
Well, I thought it was a lively debate. A couple of things just to run through quickly. I think because our friend here said a lot of stuff. I think with Tulsi Gabbard, the challenge I think with Ms. Gabbard is, yes, as somebody who was very much against the Iraq War, got out of news really, initially because of my opposition to the Iraq War. I think a lot.
Like, that gets you no credit now, because Barack Obama was against the Iraq War too, and look what he did. So, like I said, you can't give any of these fucking people credit. Don't give me credit. Like, you should be waiting for when I fuck up, and you should turn against me immediately. I'm serious. But let's continue.
A lot more people than we know feel that way. Even people who have military backgrounds who say, why did we do this? Why did we spend our country's human resources on this war? And I think it was a lot of the reason that Barack Obama was a viable candidate for president, is that he could see ahead that this was not a wise idea. And I think a lot of Democrats.
See how it's put in the context of wise idea. It's a matter of intelligence, right? He was smart enough to foresee how bad it could be, instead of, these guys actively lied us into this war, along with Netanyahu telling us they had evidence of something. Turns out all to be bullshit. By the way, check that movie Vice out, the one with Christian Bale in it playing Dick Cheney. Yeah. There's a scene when they're in the I don't know what room it is, in the White House or something, the strategy room, and there's a particular scene where they talk about Israel doesn't want us to go into Iraq. They don't want us to do this.
Harry, we went to the wall together with Conde. We prayed together. Israel's one of our closest allies.
They said an invasion of Iraq would destabilize the region, and they don't believe Saddam is an immediate threat.
Well, that's not good.
Meanwhile, it's like, do you remember Netanyahu fucking going into Congress and selling the war?
There is no question whatsoever that Saddam is seeking and is working and is advancing towards the development of nuclear weapons. No question whatsoever. And there is no question that once he acquires it, history shifts immediately. 2 decades ago, it was possible to thwart Saddam's nuclear ambitions by bombing a single installation. But today, nothing less than dismantling his regime will do.
Why would you just... I understand leaving it out. Maybe that happens. You just forget to put it in. But to actively just make shit up against it? What the freak? That's very weird. And you wonder why people have conspiracies about Israel and Zionism and all that. You wonder why that happens. Anyways, just a little tangent.
preferred him over Hillary Clinton in 2008 because of that. I think that that's true. I think the challenge that Tulsi Gabbard is having is that you can feel that way about the Iraq War, as I definitely did, but
Tulsi's answer is much different than Barack Obama's or yours.
But also find it odd that the way she talks about regime change wars is exactly the same way that Russia talks about them.
Right.
She uses this language that feels straight out of kind of the Kremlin.
Sure.
It is odd.
Yeah.
And that she went to see Bashar al-Assad.
Now, okay, she's going with the Tulsi's. It's very. She can't just say she's like, oh, she's a Russian asset. Just say that, Joy. Or are you worried about what happened to Hillary Clinton? Are you worried about that? But here's something funny. I'll let it play with just let it play on its own. But I'm gonna rewind it for a second, a little bit, and just look at the diamond shining as she's spewing this bullshit, and it's like a very, very beautiful like art scene right there. Like a director couldn't have drawn that up even better. These fucking diamonds shining on these, however amount of money that necklace costs and that earring costs, shining in your face as she's telling you, Tulsi Gabbard, who's been speaking against our intelligence communities, who's been causing havoc across the world, as she sells their narrative and calls Tulsi a Russian asset. Essentially, she calls her that. But just pay attention to that. It's kind of artful.
Russia talks about them.
Right.
She uses this language that feels straight out of kind of the Kremlin.
Sure.
It is odd.
Yeah.
And that she went to see Bashar al-Assad and cannot take away from her interaction with him or her observation of him that he is a criminal who is not just hurting random people. He's hurting his own people.
The fact that she couldn't call him a war criminal is stunning.
That
Very
you
sad,
can't
very
see what
sad.
he is
Yeah.
is
Very, very sad, Michael Moore. Like I said, the videos, the focus is on him. We already know what these shills do for a living. We know what got them the diamonds and shit. Remember, see that bald dude right there? That dude was on a Bill Maher show, I think, last week with Rahm Emanuel, and they just fit in just perfectly fine. The country's moving too far left. He's probably a dork that got picked on, and now he wants revenge on the rest of the world. It's like, yeah, you're going to pump my gas for the rest of your life. How about that, buddy? Don't forget about psychology. I'm just throwing it out there. But in Michael Moore's case, this is him like, say, this is unfortunate. Unfortunate Tulsi can't call Bashar al-Assad a dictator. It's like, God, man, I wish Michael Moore maybe would have interviewed Noam Chomsky in his career about that, that manufacturing consent thing. But weird thing about Michael Moore. There's actually a documentary about him with a play on words of Chomsky's work. I think it's called Manufacturing Dissent.
From my cold, dead hands.
At one point, Michael blames former National Rifle Association President Charlton Heston for contributing to America's gun violence.
You can't defend Charlton Heston from my cold, dead hands. At the same time, going into his house, as he did in Bowling for Columbine, wheedling his way in.
We're making a documentary about, the whole gun issue, and I'm a member of the NRA.
And then to have the men, start calling him names in the middle of the interview, accusing him of doing something which he had not done, which was to go to Flint 3 weeks after the death of the 6-year-old girl and give a speech for the NRA. He did not do that. He was not in Flint again for months and showed up there as part of a 3-state Republican get out the vote rally. But that footage conveniently fit in to the film at that point to make a different point. And that's just dishonest.
Did you feel it was being at all insensitive to the fact that this community had just gone through this?
Actually, I wasn't aware of that at the time we came. We came and did an early morning rally and went on to wherever we were going.
You didn't know at the time when you were there that this killing had happened. Had you known, would you have not?
Would I have canceled the?
Yeah.
I don't.
What he does in the end with Charlton Heston, it's not sad. It's mean. It just the guy was losing his mind at that point. It just doesn't really make any sense.
This is her. Mr. Please don't leave. Mr. Heston, please take a look at her. This is the girl.
He was an easy person for the right wing to attack. There's so much silly stuff, so many factual inaccuracies, so many bizarre conspiracy theories in Michael Moore's work.
It started because we felt betrayed. We believed in his words, we believed in his work, and then he came out with the movie Bowling for Columbine, and we found out that much of it was invented. Our goal is not... Okay, there's a small amount of animosity towards Mike himself, because he just, after investigating him, you find out he's just not a good guy.
Michael Wilson's film, Michael Moore Hates America, is causing a stir in the conservative media. Wilson talks to the people in the bank who gave Michael Moore a gun in Bowling for Columbine.
Michael Moore just showed up at your bank one day and opened an account and got a gun that you happen to have hanging out in the vault.
No, that's not exactly the way the story went. I was contacted by a gentleman in the Traverse area and said that he was doing a story on unique businesses across America. I told him that you would have to come in, we would have to do a background check on you, then we would send your gun to a licensed firearm dealer, and he was very adamant about getting the gun that day.
He said to them, if you want to be a part of this film and sort of get this publicity for your, for your bank and things like that, we really need to be able to show on film that you do get the gun. And they said, well, I guess we could have it shipped down here.
They spent 30 days setting this up ahead of time, having meetings with the bank president and the people that were going to be involved, and laying out how they wanted it to go.
He came over and he did the filming, and he was with us probably an hour and a half, I would say. He staged it where he went up and said, I want to open an account. He said, well, how many guns do you have in your vault? I said, well, I think we carry around 500 guns at any given time in our vault.
500 of these you have in your vault?
In our vault.
Wow.
300 miles away. And he was told that.
Okay, thank you very much. Wow.
He probably wanted people to believe that any one of the tellers in any of the 26 branches at that time could just go back and get you a gun.
Clip. So as you can see, this guy has a little bit of shillness in his political actions, right? A little bit of shill going on there. Now, do I think he wants to do the right thing? I think deep down he wants to try to do the right thing, the best thing possible. But you can't do that without money, so you got to compromise here. It's like, Bush has to go no matter what, so we got to prop Kerry up, who's also a fucking terrible politician. He's had a chance in the Obama administration. It's like, oh, now we would have had 4 years of that. God damn. So, once again, this guy, he's gonna play strategy, right? I think he's a guy who means well, but he's gonna play strategy, and it's unfortunate that Tulsi couldn't just call another human being, say, oh, this guy's just a full-on war criminal, knowing that when I do that, I'm also like, oh, I'm actually selling the point that you can just go to war with him, right? It would make sense. Like, go tell a guy who, like, his only specialty is shooting guns, and go tell him, like, hey, that guy kills children. Hey, hey, guy who shoots people a lot, that dude over there, he likes to kill children. It's like, what? It's like, that's sort of, I think that's what's sort of meant by manufacturing consent. But let's hear some more. Maybe Michael Moore actually says something out loud.
Is also a weird Kremlin-y view that she has of the world that makes her an odd fit for a party of Democrats.
He's
I'm not sure what it is she's doing.
He's Bashar al-Assad.
Exactly. This is not a neutral character on the world stage. He is a palpably evil character. And the fact that she doesn't have an opinion on that is weird. So I think she...
Well, Tulsi has brought up the OPCW report and how, like, it showed, like, oh, maybe he didn't gas his own people. Maybe not. In which case, he would just be a war criminal like the ones we have in office right now, and for the last 8 years, and the 8 years before that, and the 8 years before that, and the 8 years before that, and the 8 years before. Like, oh, he'd just be equal to our war crimes. Gotcha. Except even his, I can see someone like adding a little slither of empathy to where it's like, oh, you think everyone, all the Western powers are there to take you out right now. You just saw Gaddafi go down. You saw this guy go down. You saw Iraq. You saw all of it. And you're like, oh, fuck, they're coming to get me. I have to make sure I win this war, so I'll do whatever brutal shit I have to. Right? This is not difficult. This is not difficult at all. But, like, she's actively selling war now. We know this. I'm still waiting. I want to see what Michael Moore does, see if he flinches anymore.
It's right. It's a weird place for her to be in the Democratic Party. I think that's number one. I think number two, it's absolutely true that the working class has been viewed for decades as this sort of, white, Midwestern, hard scrabble person, when the majority of working class people are people of color and are young people who can't afford to pay their student loans and who are going broke even though they're working. People like, my kids, they'd have jobs. My middle son has graduated from college, is working. He can't afford to move out of my house. Like, he wants to, but he can't. There's no way. Our kids have to live with us, my husband and myself, because they can't afford it.
That necklace can afford some shit. And I bet those earrings could too. I'm sure you make enough money, Joanne Reid. These type of problems you're talking about probably don't reach you. Just being real.
So I think we have to change the whole concept of what we're talking about when we talk about working class and broaden it out. I thought it was important that the debate was in a city like Atlanta tonight, where you have a lot of African Americans, Latinos, people who are that other working class. And I think what they heard tonight, number one, was the best debate I've heard Kamala Harris have.
I agree.
But
all right, I'm done listening to this. She just pushed down Tulsi to prop up Kamala Harris. Best debate Kamala Harris has ever had. Well, we know why she's not in the race anymore, right? We know what happened back then. All right, so I guess that's it. Michael Moore, all he has is, yeah, I guess so. Yeah. That's unfortunate that Tulsi will. It's unfortunate Tulsi supports a dictator. It's unfortunate. No speaking up. He has to keep his mouth shut. Once again, I think his idea is like, oh, we want I want things to be better. And I think Bernie has the best chance of winning. I don't know why people don't just say that. Like, oh, Tulsi's not, the worst candidate ever. Like, she's not a Assad apologist, but I think Bernie has the best chance of winning. I say that. I say Bernie has the best chance of winning, but I don't deny characteristics of the other candidates either. That'd be stupid. Very stupid. So, yeah. I don't know what else to say. Unfortunate. It is unfortunate, Michael Moore. Mr. Kermit the Frog. Mr. Blame Ralph Nader. Like, you're in that boat now. Now you're in the... You're probably okay with Tulsi going down, just like you're okay with Ralph Nader going down.
After deserting Ralph Nader in the 2000 election, Michael takes pot shots at him on the Slacker tour, hoping to woo some of Nader's fans to the Democrats. But they're just angry at his betrayal.
Hang on. All right, we got the Nader people here now. We got the Naders.
He wanted so badly to get Bush out that he was going to go for the only likely alternative, which was John Kerry. But he didn't have to be so antagonistic to us. He didn't have to go around the country undermining us.
It feels good to vote for Ralph. I voted for Ralph.
He has that personality quirk. It's not very pretty.
You go in the voting booth and you close the little curtain, and there you are, just you and Ralph alone in the booth. Oh, there he is on the ballot. Oh, Ralph. Oh, Ralph. Oh, you're so good. You're so right. Oh. And then you open the little curtain and you have a cigarette, and it feels good. It feels good.
He's a total sellout. He used to be with Nader, and now he supports Kerry. Kerry's pro-war. Total sellout. Can you give me a reason? Nope. Why not? Why not?
Don't touch me.
Okay, you give me a reason. Have a good night.
Fascist. Michael Moore is a traitor.
Thank you.
Nader has asked him
want to debate. Michael Moore's a chicken shit.
All right, that's it from me. Please subscribe if you feel like. Comment, agree, disagree, send me information. I think YouTube still lets you put like links down in the comment section, so please go ahead. Donate. Don't forget to donate. Devon's Journey to Recovery. GoFundMe link in the description box. And with all that said, give this video and Joyanne Reid a thumbs down.
Say you wanna get him.